Wow, did you guys see that? Theta is absolutely killing it compared to other coins. I mean, Theta is a big leader. I mean, it really was up 13, 14% today compared to other coins, 6, 7, 8%. So it's definitely looking really good. Um, wow, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I'm just like, let's go. We have an inverse head and shoulders here that just broke to the upside. The measured move is approximately $2.67. I tweeted that out yesterday before the breakout. We got the breakout, so let's go. Now, the other thing we have, I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can. So look at this. We have this line right here. We broke out. So we broke above the horizontal resistance. All of this in here. So that was a big deal, right? That's a big, big deal. That was the biggest deal actually for this recent price action. So, we are inside of this range, right? And now we're getting back to the top of the range. But what I like about it is this part here, we got through the 702. And right now we're above the 786. So, I mean, everything is working out flawlessly. Everything is working out perfectly. Everything is working out exactly the way we wanted it to. If you've been following the channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything from back, even when we were back over here, the 55% correction, the ABC, the back test of the bull market support band, the fact that we had the liquidation that got us down here, the fact that we built a base, the fact that we bounced off, the fact that we had a higher low, the fact that we're building a bigger base, a huge base down here on the bull market support band. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. And we pretty much dominated all through this, if you've been following the channel. Now, there is a big possibility that we could have broken down, and that still could be the case, right? That could still be the case. But every move, every victory, you got to celebrate, right? We had a major victory today, which is breaking above this right here. Look at this. So number one, we broke above this resistance with a bullish daily engulfing candle. So we have less than 4 hours to go. What we want to see with this candle is closing above the resistance. I wish I would have paid attention more last night because I had a couple orders filled, right? And I was doing pretty good, but I missed that last order that I had last night. It just got away from me, but that's okay. But look at this. We officially broke above the downward resistance line. So not only did we build a base on here, not only did we have 15 opportunities to buy theta, right? Dollar cost averaging, right? If all of these candles touching the bull market support band gave us the perfect signal, this is exactly what we've been talking about. It's phenomenal. Then we broke above the resistance, and then we broke above the downward resistance line. So basically today's the big day. We have less than 4 hours to go. All we need to do is close above where we are right now. Then if we can do that, then we still have to close above this line here, which comes in at a $2.47. Actually, let's bump that up a little bit. Yeah, $2.47. The measured move of the smaller time frame of this inverse head and shoulders here was about $2.67. So if I take this from here to here, I put it right about there, $2.65 or $2.64 to $2.67, depending where you put the line. You can put it down on the closes or above them, or you can put it here or to this one. I'll be conservative, say $2.64. So the measured move gets us above that. Let's see if that continues to happen. Now, nothing moves up in a straight line. We're going to get pullbacks. If you look at the smaller time frame, we haven't had any really good opportunities to get in right here. I mean, this was a good opportunity here. I was looking at this too yesterday, saying, look, we were talking about this wave in here, and I said, this is 1, 2, 3. And I said, the biggest thing we need, the biggest thing possibly that could happen, is for this to turn into a fourth wave. And we got it. We got the fourth wave. So it's not an ABC, it's a fourth wave. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Boom. Boom. We got it. Look at that. We had a bull flag. We had a nice impulse. And if you look down here, right, we developed a base down here at the bottom of that three-wave shape, right? I mean, it was screaming in all of our faces that this was it. And I missed some of it in here, which I'm a little upset about, but I was lucky to get orders before that. So we can see 1, right? We have a 1, 2, 3. So we have a three-wave shape here. We built the base, we broke out, and look at this. Theta broke out right here, and it came all the way back down, and it back tested right here. Perfect. And then it went 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, and then we had 1, 2, 3, right? 4 and 5. So is the wave finished? I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it still has a little more upside to go, but you know, probably, you know, you can see these corrections, how it comes down, right? Comes down. This was a running flat right here. We had A, B, C, and a running flat, and then we exploded. So we have 1, 2, 3, looking for 4 to come down, and maybe another hit to the high. But wow, Theta's up, 13% today. That was a big move compared to other coins, right? I mean, if you take this whole move here, that's a 15% move in one day. I mean, that's not bad at all, especially when you're in the middle of a correction below the retracement levels. But yeah, that's a big deal right there. So the price of Theta, a showstopper. So, we're not completely out of the woods yet. We're back at this pivot point right here. All of this resistance from here to here, right? So we're back at that area. So this is the big area we got to get through, right? It already proved to me that it had 5 waves, right? So that was a big deal, getting that 5 waves. The other big deal was breaking above this. So now we have one more thing to get through, and this guy right here, that $2.45, which will then allow us to get into the retracement levels up here. So if we put the retracement on, I mean, we're still relatively cheap, right? We're still very cheap compared to the bigger picture. But yeah, I want to see a $3 Theta. Once we break above $3.17, it's really go time. And the reason why I'm confident in that is because look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin absolutely went nuts. Now, is this a B wave trap? It could be, right? This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wave A. Then we come up for wave B. Then we have another 5 down. It could totally happen. So you can tell I'm excited. But I'm excited because each victory increases the probabilities that we're going to break out, right? And that's why I like it. And that's why it's important to get through it. And look at where we are here, though. If I put the retracement on, we are literally right. We crushed the 702. We had a beautiful engulfing candle that smashed right through the 702. Now we're right at the 786. So we literally have 2 retracement levels left before things really get interesting. And typically, when you break above the 702, that's really the signal to say, okay, this thing is actually going to break out pretty big. So now I don't think it's going to happen today or tomorrow. It could totally happen. But what I want to see is, I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to see a three-way pullback. I want to see it come down and maybe consolidate a little bit here, and then start to go up, right? And then this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. See what I mean? And then we can get that big third wave that shoots us to the stratosphere. And when I say that, I'm talking about the altcoins. So if you take the downward resistance line on Bitcoin, you can see we've also broken above the downward resistance line on Theta and on Bitcoin. So that was good to see. Now, if you do a wick to wick, obviously you didn't do that quite yet. Let's go to the daily chart. So the daily chart, right about there. So what's important with Bitcoin, right? We broke above all of this, and we broke above all of this, right? And now we have one more thing to do, which is break above, which is break above this right here, above that top retracement level. So that $70,000 to $74,000 area is going to be big resistance. But let's just recap here for a moment. What has happened, right? And what led to this? What led to it is this candle right here. That's why I talked about this candle a lot, which is this bullish hammer candle. It came all the way down and it tagged the bull market support band. Now you don't have to hear me talk about it all the time, right? If we can break out of here. You can see that candle did too. Look at the difference between this candle here and this candle here, right? The two different bullish hammer candles, right? This one missed the bull market support band, but this one nailed it perfectly. And look what happened after that. We had a big run up. So is that what's going to happen again? Totally could be possible. Or are we going to get something like this? See how big this candle is? It broke all the way to the top, but then it came all the way back down and it went sideways. So is this something like, a bigger correction, right? Basically a B wave, right? Like I've always said, the B waves could be traps. This could be A, B, and then C, right? Or better yet, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So the difference here is not necessarily challenging the bullishness, but challenging the time of which it gets there. Because this was an A, B, C. Is this going to be something similar? Totally possible. So, it's all about clearing this area up here, which is the big guy, which is the weekly chart, a weekly close above 71,279. If we can do that, then it's going to look pretty nice. Now you can see that happened over here as well. We had a weekly close above it, but then look, the following week, we couldn't hold up, and then we came back down. That's why this thing came up way too fast, too quick, right? And it was too much, right? So we don't want that to happen again. So what we want to see, right, is come up a little bit, maybe come back down, then break up, maybe go sideways a little bit, then break out. Let's consolidate a little bit here, because if you go up too fast, then you can kind of come down and then, reset the price. So that's kind of where we are on Bitcoin now. Let's look at the smaller time frames. I mean, now we know what this was, right? I mean, we were talking about 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but actually the better idea was that this is 1, 2, 3, And then this was an A, B, C, a running flat for wave 4, and now we're getting wave 5. So 1, 2, 3, this was 4, and now we got 5. So now what do we want to see? Well, I would like to see the price of Bitcoin come all the way back down and back test 67K. That would be a nice entry right there if we can accomplish that. Or let's see on the retracement scale here. Yeah, or at least right around the 618, somewhere right about there. 67,663. Some of them haven't really performed. I mean, this is SHIB right here. It did get back to the top, but you could see it didn't break out, right? Like when I look at Bitcoin, it broke out. When I look at Theta, when I look at XRP, let's see, did H-bar break out? No, H-bar did not break out. You can see it's only in a retracement here. So it still has a lot of work to do. But I mean, again, we were talking about XRP yesterday, and we got it, right? So I said this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably looking for a 3-way pullback. So, but the whole thing is 1, 2. This whole thing is 3, right? Or I should say 1, 2, 3. This is A, B, C, right? An expanded flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're getting 5. So this whole thing turned into a bigger 5-wave move. So now what we want to see is maybe a little bit higher, but some type of correction in here, that back test in here, and that gets us out of here. I mean, shoot, it can just keep steamrolling right through, right? And that's the tricky part. So that's the, the FOMO part takes over. You don't want a FOMO, you want a good price, but you don't want to miss the opportunity and let the price get away from you. So if you're dollar cost averaging, investing, hodling, it doesn't really matter because you're hodling, right? But if you're trading, you want to be more patient about it. But yeah, everything looks really, really good today. Again, we're still not completely out of the woods yet with a lot of these coins. Let's look at total 3 here. That gives us the broad sense of the whole market. So let's see, did we break above the downward resistance line? We did. Look at that. XRP has officially broke. I said, let's go to total 3. And I started looking at it. I'm like, wait a minute. Look at that. XRP has broke. I mean, you can count the closes. You don't have to. Or I'm sorry, the wicks. You don't have to count the wicks. As long as you get the close. You can see we actually broke above it before. We came all the way down. We back tested the top of it. And now we have a bullish daily engulfing candle that's breaking the previous swing high. Heading higher and higher into the retracement levels. Let's see where we are on that. We're almost at the 618. So this is where it gets challenging. This is where it gets tough, right? Because, like I've always said, when you're in the middle of point A and point B, you're right in the middle here in the retracement levels. That's where it can either go this way or this way. And that's the tough part about it. So you have to kind of just wait and see. My guess is we consolidate, maybe pull back a little bit. But my guess is we're going to break out. Just based off Bitcoin having that bullish engulfing candle. But Theta, it was the big thing. I mean, look at Theta. It's already, it cleared this by a mile down in here. And it has one more to go, which is this one here, which will then allow us to get back into its retracement levels. And once Theta gets to its 618.702, then that's going to be the true test of us getting out of here. But we haven't had a bullish daily engulfing candle like this in a very long time. So I would even say back in April was the last time. So it's been a while. So to see this candle come in at the exact point we wanted to see it, right? Because go back and watch yesterday's video. I said this is the most critical area for the price of all of crypto, right? Because, you know, this was either going to be 1, 2, 3, and now we're going back down, right? Or this was going to turn into a fourth wave, and now we got 5. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that 5-wave move came off of the bull market support band. It came off of a higher low and another higher low. And then it also is occurring at the tail end of this base, right? So if it was a triangle, it would only be 3 waves, and it would have already broken down, right? That was the big thing. Was this a triangle? Was this a fourth wave? So was this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If it was a triangle, we would see A, B, C, D, E, go. So it was going to happen right here. But so that was the most pivotal point about it, and that was the most interesting part, right? I mean, you can see where this broke down. Like right here, we had A, B, C, D, right? Or wait a minute, A, B, C, D, E, down. So this right here, we had 2 points. Down here, we had 3 points, right? So we had a little bit more room. So if it was going to happen, it was going to happen then. So we got it, right? So, you know, it could still go down. You know, we're not completely there yet. We have one big area we need to get through, and that's this area here, right in the middle. This basically this middle area where we have all of this in here, resistance, right? And you can see this wave, it didn't even make it up there. So now the big question is, what's going to happen now? Well, in my opinion, I think we're going to break it. Do I think we're going to break it in one wave? Maybe not, right? What could happen is, I mean, there's a lot of different things that could happen, but one thing is some kind of back test, right? So let me zoom in a little bit here. Let's see, right about there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see an ABC, and let's back test, you know, $2.25 up to $2.33. That would be a nice thing to do, right? And then kind of reset it a little bit and then continue higher. Unless this is going to just impulse, right? So if it impulse, it doesn't allow you an opportunity to get in, but I would imagine a lot of people are taking profits. So if we do break out of there, right? If we do break out of there like that, then at that moment, I would say, okay, I would still wait for an ABC pullback, something like that. Right? So then this whole thing could be 1, 2, 3, 4, extended 5. And then get a 618 retrace of this 5th wave and then continue to go. That would be very nice to see. I don't like when waves go up too fast, too quickly in corrections, because it's usually a trap, right? We don't want to be trapped. So, you know, when I woke up, I missed my last order. I'm not going to go chase that, right? I'm just going to wait and be patient. Just wait. If it continues to go, it's going to give us a 3-wave pullback eventually. So, you know, we'll just have to wait for that. But, you know, Theta is looking much better than a lot of other coins. If I go to total 3, so total 3 is actually breaking above its actual range, right? It's actually breaking above the entire range, which is nice to see. So that is brilliant. So that high right there, look at that. We actually broke out, and look at this red candle here. We actually back tested it. So let's see if we continue to have some momentum, right? I mean, if you look at total 3, it was only this little way from here to there. That's it. So this thing could still have a lot more juice to go, right? So I just kind of give myself a pat on the back. Basically looking at this for the last since March, so March, April, May. So the last 3 days we've been talking about being in a correction, and this being an expanded flat, basically building a base on the bull market support band. You can see the inverse head and shoulders in here. You can see the bullish consolidation, and now we're starting to break out. So we have, you know, back when we were over here, it was a little bit scary, right? We didn't know if we were going to break down, but that's why you take, not financial advice, but I take the risk, because we had a 3-way pullback, right? And we have the perfect opportunity. So, and then fast forward to today, we have 1, 2, 3, and we're starting to break out. So if this is going to be a corrective wave, it still looks like it should go a little bit higher. So 1, 2, let's get up here, 3, then 4, then 5, right? But yeah, that's kind of where we are now. If this is going to turn out to be a disaster, when I mean a disaster, I mean based off time. We can see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then we get up here for 3, and then we come down 1, 2, 3, and then we kind of go sideways before we go. So that would be a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. So what that would do is basically building a base on your base, right? So you built your base here, and then you would basically build another base that's a little bit higher, basically back testing it. So that's kind of what would be the bearish idea. Now the ultimate bearish idea is to say that this is an A, B, and now we come down for C, and then we go. So that could still happen as well. So it's kind of a waiting game to see how this is going to play out. But there's nothing to be down about today. This is I take this as a major victory. One step closer for the bulls. I mean, just look at Ethereum. Ethereum had a pretty big 4-hour candle there, and we also broke above the downward resistance line. We were talking about that yesterday. I had it right here, right? Because we have 1 touch point, 2, right? 3, we broke out, we back tested it, bam, we got all the way back up here. So that was pretty big deal there. So for Bitcoin, we want to see, we're getting a pullback now. That's good. This is good. This is exactly what we want. Price is pulling back. Finally, price is pulling back. Let's see. Let's look at XRP here on the small time frame. You can notice XRP isn't pulling back as much. It's kind of sitting here in a tight range, which is nice. But yeah, I wanted to get the video out earlier, but I was too busy moving money around, trying to figure out what I want to do, how I'm playing this, and yeah, kind of just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here. And I mean, you have to ask for my trades, right? Not for my hodl position, but should I take profits, right? I'm not gonna tell you what I did, but I definitely took some profits here, and I want to wait and see on my trades, right? So if we get a pullback, I'll be more than happy to re-enter some of that I took out. But from what I see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a 5-wave move, and the 5th wave is proportional with all of these waves, right? It's all proportional. So I want to see some consolidation. I want to see a three-way pullback. I want to see something that says, okay, we're ready to go again. Of course, it could keep pumping, right? That's always a possibility. But that's why when you trade, you're dollar cost averaging out, right? So I don't take all the profit off the table, probably about 20% or so, and kind of waiting to see how it's going to play out. But yeah, let's zoom out on XRP and look here. Now, when you zoom out on XRP, I mean, nothing's changed. It's pretty much the same. So it's not like you completely missed out, right, if you didn't buy it. We still have plenty of room. And what I really like is that this is a bullish engulfing candle on a pullback, on a higher low, that is also breaking above this downward resistance line. So, I mean, this thing can get going pretty fast. As far as the entire retracement goes, let's see. We're still pretty deep down in there, below the 382. So as an investor looking at this, I still have a lot of opportunity to dollar cost average. And then once we get to the 618 up here, that's when I'm starting to get a little worried, right? 62, 64 cents, because that's usually when people take profits. That's usually when, you know, the rubber meets the road. Are we going to make it or break it? That's like the big point. But if Bitcoin is already there, right? Let's go back to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is already close to doing it, then the probabilities increase for that to be rotated into the altcoins. So, you know, we smashed through the 702. We got rejected by the 786, but that's okay. I mean, that's to be expected. And the day isn't even over yet, right? So, I mean, guys, it's only Monday. And I wish, you know, I don't like Monday pumps because usually Monday pumps are followed by Friday dumps. And that's kind of the problem here. I wish we would have continued to correct Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, come out with a big fat candle. That way we would have gotten a bigger weekly close. Because when we go to the weekly candle, I mean, we still have 6 days to go, right? We still have 6 days to go. So it's going to be interesting. If this pulls all the way back and we get a nasty rejection, then it's going to look like an ugly weekly candle. So, like I said over the weekend, this week is going to be the most critical week, I think, because it's really going to, you know, I would say the next week or two is going to be very critical on how this plays out. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Look at Theta versus Bitcoin. We had a massive weekly bullish engulfing candle here off the bull market support band. Looks really, really good. Let's see how it continues to play. I want to see a break above the downward resistance line. And yeah, we're getting close. So everything is as it should be. When you zoom out on this here, it seems like, you know, it's pretty much complete. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have a 5-wave move, and we have a 1, 2, 1, 2. Right now, I'm hoping that this is not just a 3-way pullback. So far, it's only 3 waves: 1, 2, 3. So I really want to see this come up and for 5. So we have a diagonal for wave 5 or a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we can pull back and then go and challenge these retracement levels. But let's look at Theta Fuel, because this is one that I wanted to show. Look at the weekly chart on Theta Fuel. If it closed exactly where it is now, that would be a weekly engulfing breakout. And this is what we've been talking about with the fractal, right? Which is, you know, I've showed the Bitcoin fractal before of this being a running flat, this being a 1 2 3 4 5 with an ABC pullback, and now we have a 1 2, right? We had an expanded flat for wave 2, and now we're starting to go up into wave 3. And if you look, we have an inverse head and shoulders. I mean, come on, you can't get any better than that. And I put that right up there. That's almost 14 cents. So that gets us back to the swing highs. So it's looking really good. I like to see Theta Fuel continue to march up. But yeah, I can show you the fractal real quick. Let me go back to Bitcoin. Here's a fractal right here. So this is the price of Bitcoin. Take a mental screenshot of this, right? We had an A, B, C, a running flat, and then we came up, right? We had a three-way pullback, and then we had a 1, 2, and then we started our ascent to the upside. So it kind of created this channel up in here. And a lot of people will just look at it, okay, it's resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. They just look at it like oscillating. But no, it's actually telling a story. This is an A wave, this is a B wave, this is a C wave, this is a running flat. There's things about it that, you know, a lot of people, I would guess, would miss it. Let's see, is there any other one that I wanted to see? Yeah, there's one right here. So you can see, right, and it usually comes off from that first wave. So you have this base down here, you have that first initial wave, and then you go into that A, B, C running flat, right? You come up, you take the top out, three-wave pullback, and then you start marching up. So Theta Fuel would be right around there. So we're like almost to that point. If the pattern's going to play out, then it's going to be very bullish, right? Because let me go back to Theta Fuel, right? And you can see it right here. So, right, we have this first initial wave, right? We have our base down in here. We have that first initial wave, and now we're going up here. So we have that A, B, C, right? Running flat. We have a 1, A, B, C pullback. And now we're starting to pump. So let's see if we can get out of here. This is the do or die situation. But yeah, that's Theta Fuel for us. And how high can Theta Fuel go? Well, the first target I would put would be, let's see, about 19 cents. So almost a 2x from here on that first target, by the way. Let's see, and if I can measure it like this, I think it's about the same. Yeah, it's about the same. So then I can measure it from this wave, and I'm not going to do the B wave. I'm actually going to take it from the top of this, and then I'm going to bring it down here. So that would be about 17 cents. So I would say between 17 and 19 cents would be a good target. And the 1-to-1 is 14 cents, almost 15. So yeah, between 15 and 19 cents would be a really good area. And then also keep in mind what Theta Fuel is doing. Theta Fuel is developing its final area before blast off, right? So this is the accumulation schematic that we've been following since October, right? Publicly on the channel. I've been following it a lot more before that. And, you know, back over in October was right here, right? That was that first couple videos. I saw the 1-2, right? We dip below, we grab the liquidity, and then we start our ascent. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we go down into the spring, then we start cupping around, and then we break out and we oscillate up and down, right? Same thing that's happening here. So this area here is the same thing that's happening here. So once it finishes itself out, we start to accelerate to the upside. So yeah, I think it's looking really, really good for continuation to the upside. We just had to be very patient in here, right? Because we had to deal with a lot of, I mean, this took a long time, right? Back in, I would say, March. So, you know, all of March, all of April, all of May. So about 3 months sitting here waiting for the top. And remember, the bigger the base, right, the higher in space. So we're back testing, getting ready for this thing to do what it needs to do. So the target I have for Theta Fuel is nowhere even near where it should be. I would say the first target would be about 30 cents up to 50 cents, between 30 and 50 cents. Once we get there, then we can, you know, start to figure other things out. But we got a long way to go. But it could happen very fast, because once you break a certain area, it happens quick, right? I mean, look at this move here. It happened very quick. So, and you can see this pullback here. We started to get the dojis down in here to start to reverse this price. So I really like Theta Fuel. Here's VeChain. VeChain looks like a very tight rising falling wedge. It's still under the bull market support band. It didn't really participate in the rally today, but you know, when you look at some of them, it's still, you know, they're very much at the bottom of the range. But you know, they are looking like they're breaking out here from a falling wedge perspective, right? We broke out, we back tested. So, you know, you compare that to total, and you know, it's sitting way up here. So, you know, VeChain might be somewhat of a reasonable low risk dollar cost averaging spot at the moment. So, you know, I want to look for some follow through and a break above the bull market support band. XLM, bullish daily engulfing candle. We had this 3-wave shape down, and we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. So we have this diagonal. Want to see a 3-wave pullback, then a continuation. So we have a red candle now, right? So it's starting to cool off, starting to catch its breath. Let's see if this is just flagging out for another high, or if this is going to reverse and we're going to come down a little bit lower, then continue. I would say Theta looks like it needs a rest, right? You know, but you know, other coins like ADA, they only have 3 waves, and they barely took the top out. So this kind of looks like this could turn into some type of flat pattern where you have A, you come up for B, you break the top, but you fail to get above it. So then you come back down, then you go, or you come back down and make an expanded flat, then you go. So that's kind of the thing that I'm looking at. Like, some of these coins still look weak, like they haven't completed that shape yet. whereas, Theta and other ones have. I mean, even XRP, you can see it taking the top out clearly. I mean, H bar looks like a massive running flat. We have A, we shot up for B, right? It was a fast and furious move, and it took out the top. But that's what I'm saying. Like ADA as an example, it comes up very fast, it takes out the top slightly, then it comes all the way back down, and it makes like this running flat position. Then you have a 1-2, and now you're kind of building a base up here. So you kind of want to see it continue. T drop really didn't get to participate in this pump we had, but it's going to take, remember, the altcoins move last, right? They don't move. If you see Bitcoin pumping hard, it's very common for the altcoins not to pump. You got to wait until Bitcoin cools off, and then the rotations occur, right? So it was really surprising to see Theta actually be one of the big leaders, right, as an altcoin taking off, right? Because usually Bitcoin would take off, and then the altcoins would follow. But a lot of the altcoins, or I should say some of them, followed on the dot, which is really nice to see. But yeah, T-drop still in a bullish position, right? I mean, you still have this move up, and you're making a correction. We just got to wait for that thing to play out. So, yeah, it's looking good. I can actually, let's see, take off the wicks. There we go. So when I take off the wicks, it looks a little cleaner. It looks a lot cleaner now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, looks like we need to come up for C. Looks pretty good. Now here's Bitcoin without any wicks. Kind of looks a little funny, not having any wicks on there. But yeah, I mean, we hit 70K. I would say, we're probably gonna cool off a little bit here, and I would like it to see it cool off, because this range in here, from here to here, right? I think it should come down and retest it. So some type of move down. Let's, this is our resistance. We break out, we back test, we hold it as support, and then continue higher, right? Or even build another base over here before continuing higher. If we just accelerate to the upside, we could lose more momentum, and it could be more trappy. It could turn into a trap before another big move down, right? So I'd rather it happen now. Let's base out and then continue. Yeah, like Q&T, it didn't really participate either. I mean, it did. It had a nice pump and it broke the top, but it still looks very corrective, and it still has some work to do. Let me go back to SHIB. Now SHIB looks pretty good. Obviously it's got a really nice trend line here. We broke the trend line, right? We had a 3-wave pullback. Boom, boom, boom. And now we're starting to accelerate to the upside. So I want to see, Bitcoin kind of cool off and consolidate, and then some of that rotation to come out of Bitcoin into some of these altcoins. Because I would like to see this be like a 1-2, 1-2. That would look really good. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Filecoin, nice engulfing candle. We broke the top. It seems like a lot of the charts are basically just let me summarize real quick. a lot of the charts, you know, we broke above this resistance line. We still have, you know, other resistances we need to get through, but it was a really nice looking candle. So just looking at total 3, we broke above pretty much everything except this last little line in here. So if I put a channel right here, or my resistance box right here, we can see we're running into that resistance. But that's good. We want to run into it, and we want to challenge that spot. So if this is some kind of diagonal here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have a little 3-way pullback, we back test, you know, some of these areas in here before we challenge and we make our way higher, right? Or at least get back up into here, and then, you know, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can get 5. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for total 3. Now, the bearish idea is saying that this is just a you know, a pullback before more downside, and I just can't see that right now. I'm not even going to talk about bearish ideas because it doesn't make any sense. If we do start breaking like this low, then we can start talking about it. But as of right now, it's looking really nice. That'll do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.